especially for those of you who really want to be a millionaire and you're not just talking. If you're just talking, then there's a club for that. They look great. They wear all the t-shirts that say that they're a boss and they're doing nothing. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person behind you.
Because I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to.
A workaholic is someone who is always doing something. We don't rest on our laurels. We don't wait for the world to take it to us. Christina.
Taking it to the street.
See, you can tell we've been on vacation.
No, I'm sorry. My son is testing. I'm trying my best not to be really loud.
We are having a technology testing today. So many of you have been at home working from home virtually. I have been at the office. And then last week, finally, I went on vacation. And honestly, it was amazing, but it was not enough. Okay. So because I have delayed so long in taking the actual vacation, 1 week, even in Puerto Rico, was not bastante, was not enough. And so this week I am working from home. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I like it. I like it a lot. Although next week I'll be back in the office. But I am already planning for the next vacation in true WorkHARDAholic format. So glad you could join us today. If I didn't mention, because I know that I didn't. Other than the fact that I am the original WorkHARDAholic, I am the executive director of the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Drive. I know me point, but I'm not in the building. Directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. And author, speaker, writer. I've never known the difference really between an author and a writer. I don't know if it's just a matter of saying author is published and a writer writes. I don't know. If you know, let me know. Blah, 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 consultant, been doing it for 25 plus years. Yes, the gray is legit, too legit. I like all of that. And I normally say like to my Christina with a K is normally to my left. But like I'm looking at my screen and like neither one of us are in person, although we're being run through the Imagine Media Lab where our producer Christina is located. Christina with a C, don't be confused, where she is located. So normally I'd say to my left is Christina with a K, but actually on my screen, she's to my right. I don't know what she looks like for you, but hey, the point is, I am joined today, as I am each week, by Socialita Christina. For real?
My son is testing.
You know what? Oh, y'all need not to be in the same room. Christina is the prime example of a working mother. And so she is quietly trying to do a podcast because her son is in the same room doing a test.
Yeah, he gave me the side eye already.
I am telling you, what will we think of next?
Yes.
On that note, this 2021, the other day I had to think to myself, like, what year is it? That's just how, the brain cells are working these days. And so 2021, it is 2021. Right. Yes. I turned 50 last year. So that was 2020. It's 2021. I got it. So 2021 has already been a very interesting year.
Yeah.
So I feel like in a lot of ways, we're starting to see like the light at the end of the tunnel. And at this moment, I don't feel like it's a train. right? For a minute there, I wasn't sure. I was like, I see light, but is the light a train
Right.
or is it like sunshine? Is it, the brightening of a day? And so, for those of you who don't live under a rock and who aren't like intentionally avoiding the news, yesterday was like a really pivotal moment in American history. And
Yes.
so, I want to first start off by saying I am so glad I took vacation last week because emotionally, mentally, spiritually, I don't know that I'd be capable of all of the feelings and thoughts that have been like bombarding me. So, one, I have a habit of watching things to the end. So I watched the trial. And and so, for those of you who don't know, the trial of Derek Chauvin ended yesterday with a conviction on all three counts, which I thought was a miracle. Um, and so it's been traumatizing, like really. So first and foremost, like prayers to the Floyd family, but not just to the Floyd family in particular for this moment. Um, but there are so many of our Black and Brown families and ancestors and individuals who've been through so much. And I don't know that we give them enough credit. So even this, and I know this is WorkHARDAholics, and we're not a political commentary, but we're doing business in this day and age, and because of which we need to understand this day and age. We are a part of our communities. We are either an asset or a detriment. I mean, there's no like in between about it. That's who we are. And so in that vein, um, and I am someone who I don't talk politics a lot in general because I really feel like politics are personal. I talk policy, but not politics. Um, but then like right now, like I feel a little bit I feel really shattered. I don't know another adjective. And so I can imagine that all of you are in a similar place, no matter where you stood on the issue, right? No matter what you thought was right or what you thought was wrong. Um, I mean, just the levity of a moment in time where many of us watched and saw a man murdered on video. And what's interesting to me is that like I have a brother in law enforcement. I actually used to do consulting for the Police Athletic League as well. Um, I also have a nephew in prison. Um, uh, and so like I feel like, and I live in the hood, and it's where I've moved back to the neighborhood where I grew up. And so I'm really not trying to go on like this massive diatribe, but the deal is that I feel like we're all at this place where we're hurting, we're healing. Um, and even though yesterday's verdict was, as far as those of us who are in the African American community, was an amazing, wonderful thing, it doesn't change previous hurts. It doesn't. But it does allow us a sliver of hope. And I don't know about you all, but I'm hoping right along with you um, that this is the beginning and not just a band-aid. So I think a lot about even when President Obama was elected, I recognize that. So my life has been an amazing, wonderful, like crazy, chaotic thing. And so I honestly did not believe that I would see a Black president in my lifetime. So I was amazed to see it happen. And now to have a African American, Asian um, vice president is it's amazing. But do you all know that after Barack Obama was elected, like the crimes against African Americans actually increased? It was like this whole mentality that one action meant that we were good. And so that's my pause. I want to stop now. I'm praying for the families who have all been impacted recently by all of the activities and events, especially those that cause you to have a loss, um, a loss violently, a loss due to the pandemic. Um, I am praying for all of you. My heart goes to you, and I know that we're all healing. I know that we're all going through, but we're gonna go through it together. Okay, so I'm sure Christina with the K did not expect that of me today, but it's just where we are. Like, how have you been handling things? Are you of one of those who are wholeheartedly avoiding all of these issues so that you can have your sanity?
Yes, that is me. It
I'm
is
not
me.
shouting you down.
Yeah.
A friend of mine made a post on Facebook the other day, and she was saying that she's avoiding the news, um, that she's on the borderline of trying to be informed and trying to keep her sanity. And
Right.
so, and I responded and I said, I've actually had a policy for years now, and I mean for over a decade. I don't actually watch the news. Like, I don't turn on 6, 8, 12, see, MSNBC. I don't turn on the news. I have depended on notifications that I get from social media that
Hmm.
alert me of various topics. And then I can have the choice to decide, am I capable of watching this information? Can I take this in? And that's for my mental health, right? And
Yeah.
so if that's where it's okay. It's okay. Um, Hope I didn't give you a spoiler alert with the news from the trial yesterday, but you have to take care of you the way that you need to take care of you. So on that note, I want to take a moment. We have the little slide that says, you know what? No matter what's happened, remember their names, but really remember that they are a small percentage of people who have been affected in our history in the United States. Sad,
Absolutely.
but true. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to give you all like a happy note, but I'm not really in a happy mood. We're gonna all be where we are.
Right.
And the thing is, you don't have to apologize for your feelings. You don't. I am a believer. I'm an ordained minister. I don't think I talk about that very often. And I have faith galore, but that doesn't mean that there's not hurt. That doesn't mean that, like, the things I've seen with my own eyes, those traumas that we all deal with, and we're taught to like suck it up and move on. Like, we all have that. And on that note, for those of you who are dealing with the trauma, suicide rates have gone up recently, and it's understandable. It really is. This is a depressing time. Let's just be real. The pandemic has been hard for a lot of people. So I want to share a resource with you, and there are multiples of them, but this is just someone who we know and trust, and she doesn't know that we're sharing this information. But I would say, please feel free to reach out to Kaya Counseling. Right, that would be Dr. Felicia Green. I think we have her slide and her information up, put it into the PowerPoint today, and so feel free to give a call to her number. Um, what I love and respect about her is because she's got the clinical training, she's got the background, she's listed with Psychology Today, but she's also really, 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 really real. And so we've had her on the show before, and I've had several conversations with her. And one of the things that she talks about is um, that when she's giving therapy, she doesn't dwell on the past. So the past brought you to where you are. You need to understand that so that you can heal and move on. But she's very, very much about the, what does it take to heal? What does it take to move on? And so love that. So on that happy note, but to me, really, that is a happy note. So all of these things that have been occurring recently, I really do think about everything from like an economical standpoint. That's how I'm built. That's why I'm a workaholic. This is what I got for you. And so I think about things from a financial standpoint. The pandemic, even with regards to like the riots, and all of this leads me back to a need for autarky, Did you think I made up a word? I did not. It's a legit word. It's our word for the week.
Okay.
Autarky. Don't you love the fact that I know that these words are a part of my life?
Yeah.
Yes, of course they are. So autarky is really self-sufficiency. I did not look up the history to see how they came up with this word. I'm normally very fascinated by that. I don't have the brain cells for that right now, but yeah, that's just where we are. But autarky is really interesting concept because a lot of us, like when I grew up, part of the reason why I'm an entrepreneur, the reason that I believe in the side hustle, is because I was raised in an entrepreneurial family. If you've seen my bio, if you've seen me speak, you've heard me talk about it before. And so my parents, my mother in particular, talk about like the queen of the side hustle, right? And so I was raised to believe and to understand that no matter what the world threw at you, you either threw it off or took a hold of it and made something happen, right? And so, and I know that we aren't, a lot of generations aren't taught that anymore. It's easy to be self-pitying. It just is. Like right now in particular, there's so many things coming at you, but I always come back with the question of, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with it? Or are you just going to discard it? I mean, to me, those are the options. And that is what has worked for me. So when we talk about autarky, I've just been really focused on like, what are you going to get? What are you going to make? What are you going to do? You can't rely on the Fortune 500. You
Right.
can't rely on someone else to support you and take care of you and provide for your needs. You just cannot. It just doesn't work anymore. And so a little bit later on, I want to talk about like, what's your side hustle? How are you self-supporting? So when I grew up in Highland Park, which is where I'm living right now. They're trying to start calling it Green Park. I reject that.
Oh, really?
I do. I reject it. Green is my favorite color, but I'm like, you can't tell me after living here all this time that all of a sudden the name has changed. I
Yeah.
feel like it's like the colonizers who came to the United States and cut it up in lines, like they were just making stuff up. I'm just saying. I
Okay.
live in Highland Park. Thank you. Thank you very much. Gentrify away, but I still live in Highland Park. And so it, yeah, even as I'm here and we're talking about the neighborhood that I grew up in, is not any longer, it really is being gentrified, was predominantly African American. And there was one Caucasian gentleman who was German who lived on the corner, like as far away from my, like around the corner of the last house. Really nice guy. He gave away Krispy Kreme donuts every Saturday morning. Other than that, never saw him doing it. Like
Oh.
that was the deal. Like, yeah. But there were doctors and lawyers and teachers and people on welfare all in the same community.
Okay.
And so like everybody had side hustles. The teacher, tutored. Um, there was there's a pastor around the corner, and his wife sold like, have you ever had like I don't even know what they're called, an icy? Christina with a K. Have you ever had an icy?
The one she scraped out the cup.
Yes. And so really it's frozen Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it is.
Right? And she would sell those. Like you would gather your nickel, quarter, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and you would go to her house in the summer and you could get an icy. And it came in the little cups we now have coffee in.
Yeah.
And it was frozen Kool-Aid.
You know
Like,
what? I might start being the icy lady over here. I forgot all about that.
no joke, right? And so it's like there are so many ways that we all can be investing in ourselves. And since the beginning of vacation, because that was vacation part A, there is a part B, and there might even be a part C. And I mean all in 2021. I did not realize how much I had run myself down. And then during the pandemic, because of what we do, my job was to be available to people to help them survive, not just survive, but thrive, even during the pandemic. And I didn't realize how much I was drained. I mean, I'm an introvert. And so I didn't realize like how much of the life had been sucked out of me until I sat down for 5 seconds. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so during that time period, like I have really been focusing on like, how do you make money? How do you make sure that you are not a commodity, that you are not that as an entrepreneur, you can either have a business that makes money while you sleep, and that's what it's all about, people.
Right.
Make money while your money should make money for you. When you have to physically be present for every day, for every activity, you are a commodity. And commodities, just think of it this way. If there's a field, right? A farmer has a field. Those are commodities, mind you. So normally like corn, oil, like things you can grow from the ground. And so like when people are trading commodities, that's what they're talking about. And so there is a limit on what you can get there. So that field is only as much as you can have for the season. And when it's gone, and you have to replant. And if you plant too much in that same soil, the soil will die and it will lose all its nutrients and blah, 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 blah. You are the same as that field. You and your business are the same as that field. If you operate like a commodity, you and your business are like that field, right? But if you're operating your business really the way that you should, then you're the landowner. That means you have multiple fields. When this one isn't working, that one is working. You have people who are working the fields. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. This is giving me like slavery connotations in my head, but just work with the analogy. That's just where my mind is. Okay. Work with me. I'm going to be okay. And so we should be building these empires, these conglomerates that work even when we don't. Right? And so that's not what a lot of us have happening. So in that vein, and because we want to develop an autarky, at least financially, then one of the people that I have truly been studying this past week, I've been totally fascinated with, is what I'm using for our book it moment this week. This week's book is not a book. It's actually a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yes. And the guy is called Wall Street Trapper. I have to pause, like Wall Street Trapper. Yeah, it's a whole other level of game that I'm just not even aware of. So this gentleman, whose real name, I don't know. I saw him on The Breakfast Club, which is a whole other thing. No, not The Breakfast Club. I saw him on, he's been on The Breakfast Club, but I saw him on EYL, Earn Your Leisure. And so for those of you who listen to podcasts, in addition to WorkHARDAholics, Earn Your Leisure is an amazing podcast that talks about making your money make money. So two African-American gentlemen, they talk from a financial standpoint. They have an academy. They do all kinds of amazing things. Check that out. Earn Your Leisure. So I saw Wall Street Trapper on Earn Your Leisure. And so he's a guy from the hood, right? I did not know. I am so biblically put it, I am in the world, but not of the world. So like, I literally live in the hood. Like I'm not, there are no jokes about that. It's gentrifying, but still I live in the hood. And so like, I'm sure I know drug dealers, but they're not offering me any.
Okay.
That's my best way of explaining that for now. And so I did not know that trapping, like I know trap music, right? Christina with the K, do you know what trapping is?
Yes, I do know what trapping is.
I had never heard the terminology before. I was like, trapping. Like, what?
Yes.
Christina's like, yes, move on. Okay. So I knew trap music, which I'm quite fond of, right? And I knew it was considered urban.
Yeah.
Urban music. But I didn't know the history of like trapping. Like I was unaware.
Yeah.
So I learned all this while learning about the stock market from Wall Street Trapper, because he was, he was a street trapper,
Mhm.
and but real smart, real intellectual. Went to jail, went to prison, some prison whose name I didn't know, but apparently it was like monumentally known by everyone else except for me. And
Okay.
and so in prison, he met a Caucasian gentleman who was in for white collar crimes, white collar, blue collar, white collar crimes, white person,
Yes.
white collar crimes. And so, and he kept telling him that he was playing the wrong game. And so, he got hot about that, but eventually he started listening. And so, because of that, he said in prison, you don't have anything but time. He learned all about the stock market. So then he came out and did illegal things in a legal way. So I don't want to say he laundered money through the stock market, but he did mention that that's a really great way to do that. Not that I'm sharing illegal advice. I'm just sharing his story. And so he's all legit now, and he has massive amounts of businesses, and he teaches people how to do the stock market. And so um I this is these are all the things that I got during my vacation, because
Yeah.
like I learned about the stock market like a billion years ago. Um and I always did it for like your 401k, but I have not done like stock market investment on my own in a long time. And so then, although recently I've been thinking about cryptocurrency, I hadn't been doing that either, as far
Yeah.
as Bitcoins, etc. Like there are a lot of options out there. And vacation is what really put like cryptocurrency in my mind, because um Puerto Rico has like a lot of people who have retired there or who are working there who do Bitcoin. And then, of course, I think it was last week, was the launch of Coinbase. They went
Mhm.
public. And yeah, so there's like a lot going on. And if you're an entrepreneur or you're someone who's just like looking to make a change in your life, you have to feel some kind of a way when like major things are happening
Yeah.
and you're involved.
Right.
Like,
Right.
not even little. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, and so like there are some big shots being called. Like big ballers are doing things in a financial literacy way. So it's not just Warren Buffett anymore. We've got some African Americans on the scene who are doing some like massive things, and I want that to be us. If you're African American or not, I want this for you as well. I go back to the rich dad poor dad theory. If we all have, then we can all do better.
Mhm.
So, like, if you look at a neighborhood, your schools are better when the real estate taxes are higher. So that means if I'm still here in the hood, but I'm really
Mhm.
thinking, but I'd like to tear this house down, my mom's house down, and like rebuild it. And so that would increase my property tax without a
Mhm.
shadow of a doubt. Property taxes are what are used to fund schools.
Mhm.
And so if you're in a neighborhood and you're wondering, well, it's true if you're still believing that we're equal in our education system. Whereas we might not separate by color, we separate by dollar.
Right.
That's really the bottom line. So if you're in a neighborhood that does not have a lot of property taxes, that means monies are not going into your schools. And in your higher end neighborhoods, the monies is going to school, and the parents are stepping in and doing fundraising and assisting and helping and all kinds of other stuff.
Mhm.
And they're making donations and giving scholarships, and the students have tutors. Their children are no smarter than your children. They're just receiving resources that you may or may not be receiving.
Right.
Okay, so all of this joy to say it should be you. Period.
That's true.
All right. There is just no excuse for it. It should be you, and we want to help it be you. All right. So on that note, um, the question for the day is, what's your side hustle? I mean, it's legitimately a question. So also no, not last week, right before I left for vacation, I actually decided to um I did, like I've mentioned before, like even if you're not an entrepreneur at heart, like if it's really just not your thing, you know, if it's not. I have accepted that everyone is not an entrepreneur. But today we all recognize that if you work for someone else, you are not their first priority. And if they need to, you will be let go because that's what needs to happen.
Right.
All right. Self-preservation is key, people. If you're the business owner, you do the same thing. So I'm not slamming a business owner because of it. I'm just saying it is what it is. So right before I left, I renewed one of my side hustles. Like I have multiples of them, but I recognize that. So as a consultant, I give time, I give my energy, effort, time, and thought. So I am normally physically present, physically drained. I'm sharing information from my head to yours. So outside of books, and now the academy, and I'm about to start some webinars. Um, outside of those things, I don't have a physical, tangible item to sell. I don't have anything that I can produce in that way. And so, like, recognizing that one doesn't want to have all of your eggs in one basket,
Mhm.
I started doing paparazzi again.
Okay.
Yes. And so the deal for me, when we talk about like what's your side hustle, I have multiple side hustles. My most recent one is one I did before, and then I let go because I didn't really have the bandwidth to deal with it. And it's not that complicated, but I really was busy doing other things. And so I was doing paparazzi before the center opened. And then once the center opened, then the Women's Business Center was all that I had time for, in addition to consulting. So recently I knew that I wanted to have a tangible product. And here's the way that it works. So the reason that I'm doing paparazzi again is because I have a philosophy. I have a philosophy about investments, and I have a philosophy about the type of side hustle that one should do. I only do things that either that I'm a client of, and this is advice I got long ago, especially when it came to stock market and investing. So like if you are really into, like, I'm at home, I don't have too many objects I can show you. If you're really into Febreze air spray, see Febreze, you got a free shout out. That you should invest in the company that produces them, which is P&G. They're a Procter and Gamble product, right? And so like I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm a big Walmart shopper. Like I am ashamed to say it,
Mhm.
but I'm a huge Walmart shopper. I will shop other places, but I go to Walmart like 2 or 3 times a week. My personal bank is in Walmart, like for real.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Through all the shade you want, it's still true. It is what it is. And
yeah.
as an entrepreneur, that's why I feel bad about it, because they put small businesses out of business. And so I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll help you consult to figure out what you can do afterwards. But yeah, I shop at Walmart.
Okay.
So if I'm looking for a stock, I know that Walmart's doing well because I can gauge it. I'm buying it. I'm in there. I see what's happening. I see growth. I see when it's slowing down. Like I can see firsthand. If you are I don't know what's wrong with you today, but if you're a marijuana smoker, medicinal, of course. Um, and cannabis is a really big industry. They
Yeah.
have EFTs and all kinds of options on things you can do. You buy and invest in what you buy and invest in. And so the beautiful thing, and I loved it when I heard Wall Street Trapper say it. Keep in mind, Wall Street Trapper got a history. Um, but I love the fact that he was talking about ownership. And I don't think people understand that. Like when you have a stock, you have part ownership in a company. So
Yes.
that means whenever they have the annual investments, the annual shareholders meetings, even if all you have is one share, you are a part of the company and you have a right to a say. Isn't that crazy? Right. And so, like, Wall Street Trapper was talking about how he invests in, I forget the name of the company, please forgive me. Go watch his videos, you can see it. but the holding company owned by Warren Buffett. And so because he has like 3% share of the company, he can go to the meeting and actually have time to talk to Warren Buffett.
Okay.
For those of you who are not involved in like the stock market game, Warren Buffett might not mean anything to you. But if you are remotely engaged in investing, so beyond Margaritaville, if you are remotely engaged in investing, then you would know that many people base their investments upon what Warren Buffett is doing.
Right.
Just saying. All
Okay.
right. So, but that's with regards to like stock and investment. But when it comes even to like the types of businesses that I do what I like. I do what I love. I do what I enjoy. I'm a firm believer that if anyone's going to make money off of me, it should be me.
Right.
All right, that's my like number one rule. So like, okay, so like the paparazzi deal. Here's my story. I don't have on any earrings right now, but generally speaking, I am barefaced. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I wear next to none. I used to wear lip gloss, but with mask, I mean, I'm tired of opening the
Yeah.
mask up and seeing like stuff smeared all on it.
Yeah.
So I'm back to basically my lovely bare face. Um, but generally speaking, I would do lip gloss and earrings.
Let Socialita help your business stand out from the crowd by building your brand success through social media management. We're located at 1510 Willalon Drive, Suite 100. Our website is www.socialitarva.com. You can also give us a call at 804-484-2001. Again, Socialita.
Imagine Media Lab, in partnership with the Women's Business Center, offers hourly rental to a multimedia studio. Create or edit digital assets for marketing. Record that podcast you've always wanted to start. Voiceovers and live stream. All equipment and software is included in your hourly rental. Located at the Women's Business Center, 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100. ImagineMediaLabs.com. Book your session today.
All righty, sorry about that, people. I just want to say that while I love art hockey, having a team is an amazing thing for moments just like this.
Oh yeah.
So we had some technical difficulty, and our producer like jumped right on in. Okay, so I was telling you all my story. All right, so here's the deal. When it comes to businesses that I'm going to participate in, I do the things that I know that, as I said before, if someone's going to make money off of me, it should be me. And so with that in mind, I do travel, mostly my own. I mean, really, for the most part, I do my own travel because the fees that would go to a travel agent, I get that. Or oftentimes I can find a deal. Even when I can't get like the travel agent fee, I can find like good deals on stuff. Paparazzi for me, part of the reason why I do it is because, as I was saying before, in general, like I love earrings. Normally I have a scarf. Paparazzi doesn't sell those. I'm sorry. But they like nice necklaces. I generally like to have something around my wrist. I don't know why, I just do. And so whenever I travel, I'm frequently losing one earring. And so I was saying that like I had this pair of specialty made earrings when I was in Haiti, and they were lovely, Christina with a K. They were lovely. And I went on, I had a meeting. I can tell you where it was. It was with Circuit City. Circuit City, you say, doesn't exist anymore. That's how long ago this was.
Yeah.
So I was going in to meet with the corporate offices about, they were doing some things with athletes and celebrities in the marketing department. And it was really cool, a really cool experience. And I left said meeting minus sans one earring. And I was upset. I was so upset because the Circuit City building was huge. The corporate offices was huge and no one could find the earring. And plus I was embarrassed to even say. And so after that, I stopped spending money on jewelry. I was like, I'm not doing it. And so after that was when I finally discovered, thank God, paparazzi, because that meant I could spend $5 on something that looked like cute. And then I don't have to feel bad that I lose them.
Okay.
One year I had a Christmas tree and I had like this little Christmas tree and I decorated it with like the earrings, the ones that I had left.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Okay.
cute. You know, recycle, reduce, reuse. I mean, yeah, all that good stuff. So for all of you, I'm like, and some people are like, well, why do you bother with these side hustles? Considering that, like my hourly rate is much more than I make with paparazzi in like 6 months for an hour, maybe 3 months. Right? But here is the thing: when all your baskets are in one, when all your eggs are in one basket, what do you do when things get a little shook up? Plus, like right now, this is how I'm allocating. So I'm gonna ask Christina with the K in just a moment about her side hustle. But this is how I am. I'm really like revved up because here is my plan. You all do what you gotta do, but here is my plan. 1, I am going to invest more in the stock market. I'm going to invest in things that have dividends. If you don't know what that is, then maybe we should have a little conversation about the stock market. Or go watch Wall Street Trapper. Great education there. And so I'm going to make sure that there are enough dividends received each month to pay for, I haven't decided yet. So, and then when it comes to like paparazzi, I want to make sure that I'm making enough to pay for X, Y, Z. So at present, the things that I know that I want paid for are vacation. Christina always hears me talking about this one. I'm like, is this going to pay for my vacation? Then I don't want it. So vacation, my cell phone bill, which has increased with my lovely new iPad Pro. Okay. Sorry.
You love it, right?
I do. I love it.
Yeah.
But now I need to go get the magic keyboard. And so I want someone else to pay for that. Like I don't want to pay for it. I need the magic keyboard and I need the pen. And today I watched Apple's announcement about their new product line. So you can order by April 30th and everything comes out in May. So they have they have a tracker that you can put on stuff in case like your phone or so it's supposed to be a level above the my find option. It was real cool. Like I watched the whole thing. I'm a geek. I did. And then they have a new iMac and they have a pretty green one. It has some nice colors, like for real, it's nice. And then it has all this functionality. I don't care about the iPhone. Y'all can have that. I don't care. I'm going to buy, if someone out there has a cheap old iPhone, I need to get on Clubhouse. I'll get that from you. Yeah, I need that.
I think I heard they have it for Android users now.
I have not seen it yet, but if it's true, I will find out. Because otherwise, I'm like, I will invest in a cheap iPhone. And then, of course, there's the new MacBook Pro. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And so like, I'm real frugal. Like they'll tell you at the center, like Ty, who's my partner at the center, will come like, let's buy up. I'm like, no. And it could be like $20. Like, why are we buying? Like, what do we need that for? I'm that frugal. So my determination right now is I want to have streams of income that pay for my pleasures.
Absolutely.
Right. So if it's my gas, because, and y'all might have small gas bills, like I will hit the road in a second.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm already planning now that I'm back and I've gotten back my COVID-19 test to tell me that I'm good. I'm on quarantine. That's why I'm at home, in case y'all didn't know. I'm on quarantine because I went to Puerto Rico. So I'm on quarantine. But I got my test back and I'm all good. I'm going to the beach. I'm just saying. So like gas, or pay for a utility bill, or pay for those new Louis Vuitton. You know, whatever it is for you, that it incentivizes you. And it also gives you room to enjoy your side hustle. Like if you're working day and night, and you're getting nothing out of it.
Say it again, Lord. Say it again.
That's for the birds. But when you can assign your streams of income to the things that bring you pleasure, like when I get my new, I might not wait for my stream of income to catch up, like these additional ones. I might have to take it out of my regular income.
Yeah.
Because I really, the April 30th, people, is like the deadline to order your new Apple products. That'll be out in May. And I want to be right out. I MacBook Pro, like the one that I have here, I love her. It's time for her to retire. I've had her for a while. It's time for a new one. So as I was saying, when it comes to your side hustles, your streams of income, like I'm on the verge of saying that I might pick up another stream of income, another side hustle that I can dedicate to like my toys. I'm just saying. So Christina with the K, what are your side hustles? She got 512 businesses. I'm just saying.
Oh Lord, you know what? Actually, I have not been doing work. Huh?
I said nothing wrong with that. WorkHARDAholic.
I haven't been doing any of my side hustles because I have been working on my 2 businesses. But a side hustle that I did have that did make really nice money was a mobile notary. Especially during COVID, where people don't want to go wild, but they have to have their documents notarized. The perfect time. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good one. I thought about being a notary once. It never happened.
Okay, you should have to do it. Yeah.
See, people, we're just talking about the side hustle options, and there's so many out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so did I go through is that the only one you're talking about?
I think that's the only one I got. Do I have another one?
I have been through the plethora, right? So like
we talk about in the past too? Oh, well, then that's good. Oh, listen, I used to be a nail tech.
For real?
Oh yeah, but I always did like, you know, like the Cardi B type nails. That was my specialty.
I don't. There's nothing on my nails. So yeah.
I don't know if this would be considered a side hustle, but I mean, I was I was an EMT for a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in my younger days, my 20s.
What like she old? Like really? Like you have age on you?
I'm 33.
Quinquagenarian over here, people. Quinquagenarian. That means I'm 50. I don't know what she's talking about.
I used to remember when, like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a couple years back, tutus had became really popular.
Yes, I do recall.
Okay, I used to make tutus, and I would sell them for like babies and kids. So I did that for a while.
Hustle away, Christina. Hustle away.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. I am very impressed by those side hustles.
Thank you. I believe that's it. But yeah, the nail part, yeah, I was in like a whole salon in Virginia Center. Shout out to Amber's Cosmetics. I did nails out of their shop.
Wow.
Mhm.
I have been, wow. Okay, I'm learning so much. But I have been so engaged in this conversation, I didn't realize it's almost 2 o'clock. Like our time is almost up. Oh, Christina, can we get that social lead business check-in? While you giving shout outs to businesses?
Oh, yes. So this is the segment in the show where we talk about small businesses and we shout you guys out. So make sure that you share, like this post, and share the love. So the first business I'm gonna shout out, of course, is the Imagine Media Lab. They are hosting this amazing podcast. If you need a promo video, if you need some editing done, make sure that you reach out to Christina at the Imagine Media Lab. Second Chance Consulting with Shirley Crawford. If you or someone you need some business advice, right? We're still in COVID. You need help. Shout out to her. One thing I learned is there is a big difference between being a business owner and being self-employed. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you need to know the difference, make sure that you send her a quick little DM. Okay. Socialitha, we are a social media management company and we create a voice for your business so that you can speak directly to your target audience. We service the state of Virginia and Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. So make sure that you reach out to us. Hablamos español. Yes, we speak Spanish. So let's see. Oh, AAA Consulting. If you need some assistance with your credit, make sure that you reach out to Tracy Ross. She's amazing. She's amazing. Affordable pricing. Make sure that you check her out. AAA Consulting, LLC.net. I believe, yes. If you are looking to sell your home, you need a property manager. Oh my goodness, if you are looking to buy, make sure that you reach out to Taiwan Lee at Legacy at Tai. She's amazing. She's seasoned. And guess what? She's not going to sell you anything that she wouldn't even get herself. And that's why I like her. Okay. So make sure that you reach out to her. Today, she's at the Women's Business Center. They're located at 1510 Willow Drive, Suite 100. And that's it for the business check-in.
Do. Okay, Christina with the C. I'm going like theme music to go into to each segment. Okay. We're supposed to talk about our time tool technique and our work hard, play harder moment. We got 6 minutes. And considering that today's show has been totally different than every show we've had before, I'm still a little stuck on our commentary about our community. So as we talk about social media management, and there's probably not enough time, I shouldn't even bring this up for the little time that we have. But I find it very interesting to note the importance of diversity, education, information, and great social media management.
Yes.
So I have, once again, vacation mode. I have seen so many YouTube clips, I don't know what to do. I've started watching The Breakfast Club, which I used to watch and I'd stopped watching. But I've been watching it this week and I remember why it is I stopped watching it. But I've been watching this week, and Charlemagne the God, which I never liked his name, but that's a whole other story. Charlemagne the God, who I find is a very interesting person when it comes to commentating about political things. He does a donkey of the day kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And he was mentioning about the Las Vegas Raiders, who I'd never even heard. I'm not gonna lie, I've never even heard of the team before. But apparently, the owner, manager, someone made a tweet yesterday after the results of the Chauvin case. And so, yeah. So the tweet that he made said, I can breathe. I can breathe. And yesterday's date. And so I'm not going to lie, when I first read it, I had a totally different reaction than apparently Black Twitter and many others who saw the post. And so part of the issue is apparently, did you see this tweet? Did you hear about this, Christina with the K?
No.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a good thing to unplug.
Yeah.
And to just not be aware. And to all I can say is, one, I am so grateful that I had vacation last week. I just want to say that I'm so grateful that I'm on half vacation this week, because I don't know that mentally, like I said it earlier, but I really mean it. I don't know that I could take much more. I know I'm not alone. I know that if I hadn't just had vacation, like, I don't know where I would be, like, totally mentally right now. Anyway, we only have 3 minutes. That's not enough time to hit this. Forgive me for those of you who aren't aware, but go look it up. You can find out the information. And so the owner, of course, is Caucasian. And so everyone's been going at him for making the post. And so I initially read it and I thought, I thought that it was a positive thing, because before we've complained, we've been upset because companies have not spoken out. They have not shown support. Even now, like, the reason why it was a big deal that the president commented on the case to share what side he was on, even while still being political, because his history has shown us that in our fight as African Americans, our fight has to bleed over to people who aren't African American. Like, we have to have white advocates or other individuals who are supporting as well, and to have that camaraderie, awareness, education, information. And so before, there was so much upset because, like, the NFL and Kaepernick and other organizations weren't standing up, weren't saying anything, weren't taking a side. They were just kind of writing it out.
Right.
So I initially saw the post and thought, okay, well, here is the company that's there. It's clear what side they're on. They're making a statement and they don't have to. So then when I saw Charlemagne the God's donkey of the day was given to the Raiders, I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So apparently, after Eric Garner, after his case where he was choked in New York, apparently NYPD supporters wore shirts that said, I can breathe now, because it said I can breathe, but it was based off of I can breathe now because of the NYPD who had choked the judge. Right. And so here is the thing. I'm African American. I am generally aware. Although, as I mentioned before, I tune out. I intentionally do not watch the news, and because of which, and I tune out a lot on social stuff as well, because a lot of times there's drama that's unnecessary, and my real life is stressful enough. I don't have to go far. Like, I don't have to watch the news or a movie to hear gunshots. I can go to bed at night.
Right.
I don't. I have enough. And so I often tune out on, like, the social movements that are happening externally. I try to be very aware about my culture, my community, what's happening, how I can participate, and try to be plugged in. But I block out a lot of stuff. So I was totally unaware of the I Can Breathe t-shirt campaign that happened with the NYPD. And so if I'm African American, extremely Afrocentric, very in love with my community, and I didn't know, then I can fully appreciate that this owner who posted didn't know. Right. But here is the thing, though. While I individually can appreciate that, as a business, you don't get that luxury.
Right.
This is from the WorkHARDaholic's perspective. You can make errors, you can do whatever, but your brand is your everything. So you don't get the luxury of these kinds of mistakes.
Right.
So what this tells me is that while apparently, historically speaking, the Raiders have been very supportive of, like, BLM and other things, or at least been a decent enough comrade, if not advocate. What this says to me is that they are not a diverse or inclusive organization. Right. Because if they were, because apparently even after the post was made, within like a few minutes, there was lots of outcry about it. So even if he was unaware about the New York Police Department and the I Can Breathe campaign, if he had been remotely surrounded by anyone who was diverse, they would have alerted him. And so, like, when we're talking about the social media, this is one of the reasons why I think it's extremely important for people to have people like you, to have someone who manages their social media, and even that, to have a DEI department, diversity, education, inclusion, within your organizations. Because like right now, we're dealing with all the things that are happening with the Asian hatred. That's just bigotry that's occurring. There's so many things that are occurring in our society, or to be aware when it's Ramadan, or to know that the process and procedure for different cultures, to know that what you're wearing, while you might think it's lovely, might have like intrinsic cultural value to another community, and therefore you're wearing it is offensive, right? And so my high note, really, I'm going to try to end on a high note, because really it's past 2. We're over time. I'm coming off my soapbox. And the bottom line that I really want to share, that we are all part of this community. We are all connected. A tsunami felt in Australia is most definitely having impact and being felt here in the US. We are interwoven. And so we should all aspire, one, be okay with being reprimanded. And that's a hard one, but be okay with it, right? I don't know everything. And so if you come to me and say, Shirley, XYZ, we should all have an open ear to hear. Agree or not agree, but an open ear to hear, an eye to see injustice, an eye to see what's not fair, and a mouth to speak and hands to do, to be the change that we want to see in society. That's not my quote, but I love it a lot. Be the change you want to see. I think it's Arthur Ashe, who I'm a great fan of. Also a native Richmonder. So on that note, Christina with a K, anything coming up? Anything you want to share?
So I will be launching my book on Amazon.
I saw that.
Yes. So it's on pre-order now, How to Be a Social Unicorn. So it is for small
She has
businesses.
a picture and she looks like this. You can't see my foot, my pickup foot. Yeah. I saw the cover.
It's for small businesses that, some small businesses, they just insist on doing social media themselves. And that's okay, but you just have to make
Is
sure.
it okay? Did you hear what I just said, people? Are you
Right.
sure that's okay?
If you're going to do it, if you're going to put in the time, if you want to do your own research, that's fine. But I just wanted to help you along the way. So make sure that you guys go out and grab my ebook. I'm super excited.
Okay, phone is ringing over here. That means it's time to go. It's gonna ring again. Yeah, this is the home version of WorkHARDaholic. I don't know who's calling. Alrighty, I would turn it off. I took the phone out of the room, but the bass is still here. Okay, so on that note, as we always say, we're gonna have click meeting coming up.
Yes.
We'll announce it soon.
Yes.
Please take care of yourselves. We always talk about work hard, play harder. Get some rest mentally, physically, spiritually. If you need to turn off the television, turn it off. If you need to turn your phone off, I've been ignoring my phone all week long. Last week, I didn't even have a phone. So glad about that. Woohoo! Turn off your TV, turn off your computer. Be whatever you need. Find some way to have some peace. And if you need it, please feel free to reach out and talk to Dr. Green, who is amazing. In this time, be sensitive and aware that although we're sharing an experience, we all feel it differently. All right. So on that note, please make sure to expand your horizons, increase your side hustle, work hard, play harder, business better. And as we always like to say, live better, do better, be better. Happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta.